If you feel lost when it comes to improving the health of your home, dealing with mold in your home, or all the different industries that are colliding around the four-letter M word, watch this video all the way through. This is a concept I really wanted to put out visually on this massive whiteboard here for you all, because I had to conceptualize this over 5+ years of doing so many inspections and consultations and seeing all the different dynamics for homes and buildings and how they function, and realizing that mold is a result of something. This is why I wanted to put all these things together for you. So I'm Andrew at Melrose Mold Solutions, and this YouTube page is to get as much information out there to as many people so that an issue can be handled early so that it doesn't turn catastrophic later on. Most times, and I hate that it's this way, mold turns into a huge issue for health and for people's home because it blindsides them and they weren't aware, or maybe they weren't proactive, or yes, there was just some insidious thing happening behind certain walls or in the structure of the home. That's why I wanted to put this out here. So really briefly, if you know my page, I'm on Instagram at Melrose Mold Solutions. I have a link for the mold timeline video here as well. The mold timeline is a way that I conceptualize a straight line process so that you know how to get through this stuff effectively. A lot of people get stuck in the process. And yes, if we're not working with the right professionals, if we haven't found all the sources that are really impacting the health of the home and all those different things, this mold timeline might not be as simple. But I wanted to simplify it. I wanted to put a visual in place where we gather information, gather data. This is our exploratory phase. And then we want to go into inspection and testing, then site-specific protocol. This is a remediation plan very specific to the home on what it needs. And then the remediation plan itself being executed by a remediation company. Then that third-party inspector comes back to do a clearance test and clearance inspection very, very thoroughly to make sure that everything they said here was done. And then finally, we are finalizing remediation with the final cleaning. We're rebuilding, we're fortifying, which I'll talk about here. And then we're in where I want all of you all to be. That's in the maintain and move on. Okay, so maintain and move on is where things open back up, and it's a constant thing of preventative maintenance, of proactive maintenance. And just like an injury, if you were to hurt your ankle, you want to get your body strong and healthy and everything. But if an injury does happen, it's a result of something, remember, then we want to rehab that injury. And it's a temporary place in our life. It's a temporary time frame that's condensed here. Then we go back into strengthening our body and giving it what it needs, and hopefully coming back stronger. So think of mold as an injury to the home. Okay, so something caused it. It is a result of something. What's that something? Let me run through these really fast. And this list can be much, much longer, and all the building scientists and building biologists and building analysts can probably add a lot more to this. I wanted to say in this video that my specialty is in all these steps in the mold timeline and progressing people through and being decisive and effective and very fair with a clean conscience in this wild mold industry, where it can be pretty confusing for some, or they can get stuck in the process. I've seen really the most successful processes in the mold timeline. I've also seen some that we might need to retrace some steps in order to then move forward. So back to here, what causes mold? Well, water interacting with building material, getting that trapped over time can be an acute water damage area. And then the other way mold can grow is more of an atmospheric issue. Basically, it is humidity trapped over time, condensing or landing on surfaces and accumulating and building up. Those are kind of the two. You've got an acute water damage area, or you've got this atmospheric issue, which can be a variety of these things happening together. So all these industries are looking to prevent mold. Plumber wants to do his job right so that he doesn't cause a leak, which then causes mold. HVAC system person wants to do their job right so that they don't cause mold. Builders want to do all theirs right so that they don't cause mold. It's really interesting the more you see that mold being a result of something. We need to know what those somethings might be. So floods, of course, a leak, HVAC system, how it's designed, okay, how it's functioning. Is it insulated properly? Is it the right size for that home? Is it balanced properly with the right amount of airflow? Is it condensating? Is the condensation pipe clogged, backfilling in any way? There's so many different things with HVAC system that you want an HVAC professional who really knows this stuff and knows how the design and the functionality should be. It's a huge, huge part of indoor air quality. The more dust that gets built up in there and the more humidity that gets built up in there, that's where the contamination of the ductwork can really happen. And if there's leaks and cracks and gaps throughout the system and it's not working well, then that can compromise indoor air quality as well. Plumbing errors, obviously this can be from frozen pipes. This can be from literally a plumber that didn't finish the job well. Building errors, this is a huge one, very, very common. A lot of different things that can happen in the building process with improper flashing, with materials that are already waterlogged or not used or are already moldy being used in the building process. So many different things can happen. I won't go into all of them, but builders, and that's a huge one. This is the starting point. Chronic humidity. So humidity over time turning chronic, that's where, again, I told you about that atmospheric issue, and I can tell stories about chronic humidity issues causing widespread mold in the house. And that's one of these things that we would never have to go through the mold timeline if we just kept humidity down, figure out what's causing it first, of course, which could be the building, the HVAC system, the different, air gaps in the ceiling pulling attic area, and that's a common one, especially in the South. There's so many different things here, but if we can keep humidity low and keep dust levels low and keep airflow going, that's under the ventilation one here, we can control those atmospheric issues much, much more easily. That's where maintenance does come in. So a lack of maintenance with hoarding a lot of materials or having a lot of clutter or not touching or looking at your HVAC system for 15 years, all those things, not maintaining our home, can cause mold to happen, believe it or not, or just compromising our air quality. Cross-contamination, this could be from a remediation that was being done, cross-contaminant not being done well. This could be just tracking things into the home through a lot of just how life is. Inherited issues, this is an older home potentially that we're buying or renting, and there were things that were covered up that were inheriting the history of the home and all that dust. So I recommend everyone deep clean on the way in to whatever move they're doing. It's just smart. Bad ventilation, okay? So when we mix bad ventilation with humidity, that's stale air, and then it's humid air, it's not healthy air quality. That can cause a lot of issues. Nature outside does not have bad ventilation. It has really good airflow, and outside air is very healthy for that reason. Now we have condensation. Condensation is that cold drink on a hot day effect where the moisture around in the humid air will turn to an actual water droplet, and that's when the temperature extremes hit and dew point is reached, and now condensation can happen. This can happen in a lot of different places around the home, so we want to avoid those temperature extremes and condensation that can happen. Other hazards, okay, so we can get locked in on the 4-letter M word, which is a cause of those ingredients, right? Porous materials, certain temperatures, and water. But other hazards in the home can be VOCs, volatile organic compounds, can be chemicals, can be gases, can be bacteria. It's the first ones to grow when water damage happens. Carbon monoxide, which everyone has a carbon monoxide meter in their home and sensor. It could be radon, it could be CO2, carbon dioxide buildup, causing some neurological issues as well. So these are some specialties for certified industrial hygienists and other building specialists who may know about these as well, because we might be blaming mold when really it's one of those factors. So all these things can potentially cause air quality to not be good in the home or cause mold to happen. And we want to be ahead of it and be proactive. If it does happen, then we enter the mold timeline, okay? So you enter in. I would love to help walk through that process and keep it really progressive. We get through it and then it's done. We close the door on it. If we've done all these things effectively and we've rebuilt and sealed and finished effectively, everything done and cleaned, then we can effectively move to the maintain and move on. Now, what's that? That's where it opens back up here. This is so important, okay? This is what we really need to be putting in place so that these things don't happen again and we don't start from the beginning. What is that? Fortifying. Fortifying would be building back everything properly. Maybe it's waterproofing, it's air sealing, maybe it's repairing the right way. You got to stop the source so it doesn't happen again, of course. And then proper drainage around the home and proper install. So we're fortifying the home so that it's stronger now than what it was before, if it's able to. Some homes kind of beyond repair. Optimization, okay? So how do we optimize? We use the healthy building materials. Maybe you want a building scientist or building biologist consulting on some of this. There are so many industries colliding here. I am a constant student because I've specialized in these 7 steps and know a lot about these other things, but not enough to be brought on full time as the building materials and ground up type of building consultant. All in time, we'll get that knowledge. Maybe the best products and upgrades for your home. Maybe you need a whole home dehumidifier attached to your HVAC system, depending on your climate. Do you need an ERV, energy recovery ventilator, that brings in fresh air from outside? What type of filters are best for your home, cleaning and other products for your home? And then maintenance, okay? Proactive maintenance is how I want to say it. Cleaning, routine checks, make sure that we're checking, okay? And treating our home like an extension of our body, and knowing that we are influencing our environment is influencing us. And then let's implement the mold safe home habits. It's a free resource I have it's those basics for every homeowner and every renter. Get the humidity down, the ventilation and circulation up, get the dust levels down, and get more light in the home. So those steps and some products are all attached in the free resource, the Mold Safe Home Habits. You can get that in the link below as well. And this is a topic that I could go so deep on every single one of these things, and I will do videos on all of these. So I wanted to start with a base of what is the industry as a whole, and what is needed to really have a healthy home. And if I was just trying to fool you that it's all about mold, there's so many other factors, okay? There's a lot of industries, there's a lot of professionals in what creates truly a well-functioning home or building. And if all these things are in place, right, and we're fortifying and optimizing and maintaining a home, maybe mold's not just happening in your home, okay? Maybe you'll get exposures in different places, but you're focused on let's keep these in place. The home's good, we can check all those boxes, and we can live our life, and we can stay healthy and give our body, our emotions, our finances, our relationships with family and friends, and our purposes, give that all of our attention, and not just trying to avoid mold for the rest of our life. So the goal is healthy homes for you all, and mold is my specialty. So if you want more and more info on this, it will be coming out here on YouTube. I will be doing more and more on my website, and Instagram is where I hang out a lot. Often we can work together one-on-one, whatever it may be. I would love to hear your questions on this, your thoughts, and much more on these topics will be coming out soon, so stay tuned.